So you guys from my TikTok really wanted me to do an in-depth film review on Y2k, so here we go. Oh boy, do I have a lot to talk about for this film. First of all, I will be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen the film yet and you don't want to be spoiled, definitely come back to this video after you have watched the film. But before I talk about the film, I'm going to talk about the experience that I had before I even watched the film. So I walk in the cinema screen and I see this bloke sitting in some seats above from where I'm sitting. I walk to my seat and he looks at me, he shouts at me and he goes, "Have you had to travel to watch this film as well?" And I'm just stood there kind of like, like not expecting him to talk to me. And he goes, "I've had to travel 2 hours to watch this film because it's not showing at my local Odeon." And I'm just like, oh yeah, it's not showing at my local Odeon either. He's like, "Do you live far from here?" Now obviously I wasn't going to tell this random person where I live, but I was like, it's not that far. And then this person comes in who claimed to work at like the cinema, the Odeon we were at, and he was like, "Oh yeah, apparently we're the only Odeon like in the area that's showing it." And that just says a lot really. Odeon, if you're watching this video, please can you just show all your films at a cinema, even if it's one show in a day. I'm fed up with travelling constantly to watch new films. Fed up with it. Like sometimes it doesn't even make sense why my local Odeon's not showing certain films. It's just a bit annoying. It's just a little bit annoying. But anyway, on to the actual film review. So I completely forgot this was an A24 film. So as soon as I saw that logo, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm in for a treat. Maybe this film will actually be quite good. Spoiler alert, it was actually quite good. So a few little details they had in this film that I actually really liked. So it takes place, the beginning of the film takes place New Year's Eve, obviously, because then it's the New Year, it's the Y2k virus, you know, all that stuff. I liked that some of like the houses in the neighbourhood and stuff still had Christmas decorations up. I just thought that is actually so realistic. Like people just can't be bothered to take their decorations down until the new year actually starts. And I really liked that. It was so random, but I really liked it. So we get introduced to our two main characters that I forgot their names of, so I had to quickly look on Letterboxd for them. The main guy, Ellie, I think that's how you say his name, he's fine. He's a protagonist that we have seen many times before. He's like the shy, nerdy kid at school who has a crush on the popular girl. Nothing new whatsoever. His character didn't really have that much personality, if I'm being honest. Like there's maybe one scene in the film where he shows like rage and anger, but then throughout the rest of the film he's just shy, quiet, nerdy. Oh, he gets shy when, yeah, that was pretty much it for his character. Not that it was a bad thing, but it's just we've seen it so many times before. We then meet his best friend Danny, who is like the complete opposite. He's very extroverted, outgoing, you know, he has like a more bubbly personality. He's less afraid than him to like take risks and stuff like that. I much preferred his character. Unfortunately, he was only in the film for like 10 minutes. So this film is full of cringy humour, which I think was the point. You know, I was not alive in the years 1999 to 2000, so I don't know whether the humour in this film is accurate to how people actually spoke and stuff back in those days, but the humour was cringeworthy, and I think that was the point, so I can't really complain about that. So yeah, our main character has a crush on this popular high school girl called Laura, who is actually very good at computer hacking and systems and all that stuff. And I love how I was talking to one of my work colleagues before I watched this film. He predicted that very thing, like, was gonna happen in the film, that she was secretly gonna be all like technology and stuff like that. So we'll get more to that later on in the video about her scenes, but yeah. The film kind of drags on for a bit at the beginning, but by the time the first kill happens, after that first kill, the whole film is just a chaotic mess, and I loved it. I loved my cinema as well, was such a vibe. Like we were all like laughing in a way, kind of reminded me of like when I was watching The Monkey a few weeks ago at the cinema. Like people were laughing at the kills of that because of just how like creative they were. Like, the kills were really creative in this film. They were really well done. But yeah, then we have a scene where Danny dies, and at that point I was just kind of like, okay, so let me get this straight. They've killed all of the characters with personality, so now we're stuck with the boring characters who lack personality. When Danny died, I was like, is he actually dead though? Like, maybe he's just like, oh, fake dead, and he's actually alive and he'll save them later on. No, he's actually dead. I was very disappointed when that happened. So then we're left with Ellie, Laura, and then these two other characters called Ash and CJ. Now, Ash and CJ, we've seen them in the film, but we literally knew nothing about them at this point. And there was this scene where, like, you know, they've just experienced all this. They're trying to have a serious conversation with each other, and it just, I don't know, because we don't really know much about them. They've only been introduced into the narrative just now. It was kind of hard to take the scene, like, seriously, to feel the way they were feeling, because we didn't know much about them. I will say now that by the end of the film, Ash was by far my favourite character. So one other thing about this film that I haven't actually mentioned yet, they take full advantage of the graphics in this film. Like, the graphics were really good, really creative. I wish they had more of them in the film, because you only really see them when, you know, you see like the evil robots and stuff like that. But I did like, you know, they could have just not done anything with that easily, but they chose to actually do something with it. So yeah, then we get a scene with Ellie's actual computer from home. Is like, oh guys, no, this is my robot. He's actually a good robot. And the robot turns to be evil. And this scene really confused me actually, because I feel like it was just there for the sake of plot convenience. So like, you know, Laura, popular girl, can hack and stuff and be like, oh, this is actually what the intention is for the evil robots. This is what they want to do to humans. Like, I don't know, I feel like it was only added in the film to move the plot forward. Otherwise, it just didn't really make much sense for me. So the evil robots want to turn the humans into robots. Yeah, we've seen this before in so many other films. I don't think this film was trying to be original that badly though. So, you know, they all eventually end up going to the school, because by coincidence, the school is where the humans are being turned into robots. Girl does her hacky skills. Now, there was this like whole joke in the film about how Danny gave Ellie a condom for, you know, yeah, in case he needed to use it or whatever. He ends up using it to stop the robots, like to stop Laura from getting electrocuted or something, which was very stupid. But I think that was the point. I know I'm saying this phrase a lot, like, oh, it was stupid and cringy, but that was the point. But like, it literally was. I don't think when they were making this film, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to take this so seriously. We're going to expect everyone to take this film so seriously. I don't think that was what they were trying to go for. So yeah, they end up defeating all the robots. Ellie and Laura kiss each other, which does not feel deserved at all. It felt very cliche, very rushed. I don't know. Like, I guess in a way it felt kind of deserved, but it's just like, oh, well, we have to have them kiss now, because this usually happens in these kinds of films. They have to kiss each other now. It just kind of felt like that. They kind of just threw it in because they felt like it needed to be done. But yeah, then the film flashes forward 5 years later. There's a very obvious cliffhanger that I knew was coming, of like, oh, actually, you think you defeated all the robots? No, they're still evil. They're still here. And yeah, obviously we're not getting a sequel or anything out of this film, so I don't know why they felt the need to have that cliffhanger at the end. But yeah, overall, I had a fun time watching this film. Like I said, the kills were very creative. My whole cinema was a vibe as well. One of the best cinema experiences I've had, actually, I can't lie. I gave it a 3 out of 5. Definitely could have been better, but I'm not complaining that much. This was just a silly film to watch, and I liked it.